Hey everyone, welcome to another Pauper video, this time playing Cawblade. Now, as you might have noticed, this is not in fact a Pauper deck sitting in front of us, but historic Cawblade, in this case the Ben Stark list from Pro Tour Paris 2011 where he was victorious. Now I just wanted to highlight what made the deck quite so powerful. And yes, it did have two of the most powerful cards to make it in Standard of all time in Stoneforge Mystic, which searched up some incredibly powerful equipment and put them into play for cheap, such as Sword of Feast and Famine, Sword of Body and Mind, and even Batterskull once New Phyrexia came out. And then some of the strongest Planeswalkers we've ever seen in Standard in Jason Mind Sculptor, and to a lesser degree, Gideon Jura. On top of that, they still had excellent interactive spells like Spell Pierce, Mana Leak, Deprive, your standard 4-mana Wraths, and then Preordained Title together, and one slightly less powerful looking card on the surface in Squadron Hawk. Now, what Squadron Hawk does in this deck is subtle but very powerful, and it provides you firstly bodies to use your swords in your what is otherwise a somewhat controlling deck, and also provides you a shuffle effect to act in tandem with your Jace's Brainstorms, and finally it simply puts you up on cards. So with all that in mind, let's have a look at the Pauper version of the deck. So here we can see the Pauper version of the deck has significantly less powerful cards, but a lot of the fundamentals are the same. We have the same 4 Squadron Hawks to provide the shuffle effects and the bodies to use the equipment, but in this case, what we search our equipment up with is Trinket Mage, which limits us to 1 mana equipment, but in Pauper, these are the most powerful equipment you'll find in the format. We have 3 copies of Bone Splitter, simple power boost to our creatures, but very, very cheap to play and very cheap to equip, and Viridian Longbow, which helps us ping off small creatures, and because we have the Trinket Mages, we have extra copies in the deck, makes it easy to find. Now, still playing in the Trinket Mage space, we have Relic of Progenitus to host the graveyard decks, and Ether Spellbomb as a nice interaction piece that we can search up with our Trinket Mages. Now, as far as the rest of the interaction goes, we have 4 Journey to Nowhere to kill big creatures, and 4 Sunlance to kill small creatures more efficiently, and then Italian Javelineers, which you may not have seen in quite some time, as a double up of removal for small creatures and another body that can use your Bone Splitters. We also have card advantage in the form of Brainstorm to mirror Jace's 0 ability, which we can then shuffle the Squadron Hawks we've searched up with to provide quite a lot of real card advantage, because if you search for 3 Squadron Hawks, shuffle 2 back with Brainstorm, and then are able to shuffle with something like an Ash Barrens or an Evolving Wilds, you really generate some nice card advantage. On top of that, we have Thraben Inspector as another card advantage generating body, and Palace Sentinels, which really is quite powerful once you become the Monarch and draw an extra card every turn. We also have Core Skyfisher, which can pick up your cheap permanents like Thraben Inspector to generate value, Italian Javelineers to reset the Javelin counters, and sometimes you just have to pick up one of your 1-mana equipment or Squadron Hawks to reuse their abilities. And Secret Away as an extra creature that can sometimes give you a bit of a life buffer against the other aggro decks. Now moving towards the sideboard, we have a lot of more hateful cards in Patrician Scorn to defeat the Burgle decks by destroying all their enchantments after playing another white spell in a turn. Holy Light to shrink the token decks and to give you a bit of an edge against Stompy, make deck creatures a bit smaller. And also against Delver and the Fairies decks, if they can't play their Spelltester Sprites and Fairy Miscreants, then that takes away a big angle of attack for them. It also kills their Delvers unless they've already flipped. Learn Missionary as an extra body against Burn that gains you a bit of life. Some interaction spells in Hydroblast, Spell Blitz, and Counterspell that you can't fit in the main deck because the deck taps out too much. And then more Graveyard Hate for more copies of Relic of Progenitus, and also Sunbeam Spellbomb against Burn as another way to tutor up some hate cards. So there we are, pretty sweet, pretty off the wall Pauper deck this week, but hopefully it's a good deck. And I do have to give a big shout out to Adam Thomas, who came up with this version of the deck and is in our local play group down here in Oxford. So thank you very much, Adam. Hopefully the deck's as sweet as it looks when we play the games. So join us in the next video for the games.